All right, let's start with the div, and then between those div we'll put a paragraph. All right, let's give our div a class name. We'll give it a class name. Let's give a class name of flex. Let's do justify between. Let's do items. Let's do justify between. And then items center. Let's do flex wrap. Let's do margin top of 2. Let's do border top. Let's give it a gray border of 100. On small device, we'll have it as our padding X. We'll do padding X of 16. Such padding X of 6. Padding Y. We'll have a padding Y of 5. Alright. And then in our paragraph, we'll say at 2020-2023 SMDS constructions. Full stop. All rights reserved. All right reserved. Okay. Let's have a div. There's our div, and then between this div we'll have our link. And then for our div we'll have a class name of footer underscore copyright links dash links. Dash link. And then we'll have a border Y of 2. That's in our global styling. That's where you find those. And then we'll look at our link, and then we'll give it a href of, make it a home page. Href comes to the home. Then we'll have a class name. We'll give it a text gray of 500. All right. That's it. Then in our link, we'll simply have our terms of services. Okay. Our terms and conditions, and then save, and then this is what we'll have our terms and conditions. These are those lines, the gray lines and all that. All right, let's go back to our agent page and continue from there. All right, our main page, agent page. Remember, our agent page is the most important page for us in this video. It is our area of concentration. It is where we want to show you everything we have in mind of showing you in this particular video. So we're going to be spending most of the rest of the time in this page. All right. So let's right, as our agent page, we'll start by importing a hero. Import our hero from components. Our hero components have not been created yet, so but we're gonna have our hero in this page. So we're gonna have our hero. We're gonna make use of our use state. So let's import it also, and right, within our return function, we're going to have our main, and we're going to enclose everything within the main tag, and then that's our hero. All right, within our main tag, let's have a class name. I'll have a flex column, and then justify between, and then let's do a margin top of 7. Okay, hope you're following us probably in this lectures. All right, we're going to create our hero. Let's go to our components to create a hero component. We'll go create a new file and we'll call it hero.tsx. Hero.tsx. All right, for now, let's just do RAFCE, and we'll save it. And then let's go to our index where we import everything that we create in this component and export it for easier reference. So say import hero, and then we export hero also from this index page. We'll save that, and you see our hero, the error have been removed. But then since we are making use of that index, let's make sure we utilize it properly. We destructure these, and then we remove this hero from there, so that it will be, it makes for cleaner programming. Okay, all right, let's go to our hero page where we'll create the hero component. A hero component. All right, in our hero component, we import image from next image. And then we're going to have our div. And in our div, we'll have a class name. Class name will be hero. It's in our global styling. And then we'll have our border y of 2. And then we're going to have another div. And within that div, we'll have our h1. But let's give it a class name first. Let's give it a class name of flex1. And let's give it padding top of 15. And let's give it a padding of x. Let's give it a padding. of X. Sometimes my Tailwind IntelliSense begins to do something else. All right, let's do H1, and then we'll give it a class name of hero underscore title. You will find it also in the global styling, global CSS. You go there, you see the functionalities of the Tailwind. And here we'll say find and rent your choice residences. Shops and offices at the city center. At the city center. Alright, that's this. If we save it and refresh it, that's it. Find and rent your shop residences at the city center. Alright, we'll bring in our P tag. We'll say streamline your home, office, and shop rental experiences with our already searched out choices for your comfort. With our already searched out choices for your comfort. Alright, let's give our P tag class name. We'll say hero underscore subtitle. We'll bring in our custom button, which will have a self-closing tag. That's our custom button, the button we already have here. Was a little mix up there, but we fixed it to the best we can. We omitted a video, but then it's there. Just do a custom button, put it in a component, and then also import it into the index and export the same. All right. All right. In our custom button component, we'll start by importing our image, and then we'll import custom button props from our types, and then we'll do const button, call it a button, equals, let's build an arrow function of this prop, and then we'll have a button tag, and within the button tag we'll have some properties or some attributes. But before that, let's see if we bring in a few parameters that we're going to work with. Let's have is disabled. Let's have button type. Let's have container styles. All right, let's have text styles. These are parameters we'll work with. On this custom button, we'll have a handle click. Right, that'll be it for now. And then in our button attributes, let's say disabled is equals to is disabled. Remember that these attributes, we should give them a prop so that everything will work well. So we already have our imported prop, the custom button props. So we'll have our type equals to button type or button. All right, let's give it a class name. Let's say custom btn. We'll use a template string. Custom btn is our customized CSS for this button, and then to make it differ in various places we're going to call it, we'll also have a string literal that we called container styles. And then we have our onClick, which is a handle click. Of course, if we save that, it's going to break due to runtime error. It's going to break. So let's bring in our use client, since it's a client component. And let's save it again and see if it works. Still breaking. Okay, we need to export the button, the customized button. And once we've exported it, it's gonna work. Let's rerun it. All right, our button is displayed here. All right, let's go back to. All right, let's create the type. We already have custom button props, and so let's go to the components and create the type. It's not going to be a component. It needs to be a folder of its own. So you will create a folder and you call it types, and then you create an index page of that folder within that folder. And then we are going to create our types here. Remember, this is TypeScript. When you declare parameters, you will give them the types. So that is what we're doing in this page. So we'll have your export interface custom button props, and then those parameters we will give them their types. We'll have is disabled. Disabled is boolean and it's optional. We have our button type, which is also optional. And then we'll call it a string button, or it's either a string button or a submit button. At least these are the two important buttons we usually encounter. So one button type is either button, and then we have our container styles. That's a styling of each button. It's a string and it's optional too. And What other property do we have there? We have the text styles. Let's make it optional too. Let's make it optional, and then let's give it a string property. Okay, we have a handle click. Our handle click, it's an event. It's a button event. So we'll declare it an element event. Let's say mouse element. I think that's what it is. Mouse event handler. Okay, that's a proper one. And then HTML button element. All right, that's it. Then we'll go back to a hero page where we have a button, and then we'll call in the title. We'll give it a title. We'll say explore. All right, we'll say explore our catalog. Explore our catalog, and then we'll have our container styles. Make it a text white, and then rounded full background. Rounded full, and then we'll make the background primary blue with the margin top of 3. All right. Let's bring in that title into our props. Title is a string. Let's also add it to the parameters. Title. Now custom string, custom button. All right, let's add a span, and then bring a title between those span in our custom button. And then we'll now have a class name. Give it a flex one, and then bring in a template string. That template string will now have our text styles. All right, remember the text styles. So that's it. Our custom button is created here. The TypeScript is still complaining here. It says trying to figure out why it's still complaining. Alright, I just simply rebooted my server to fix that error. So we'll continue with we'll bring in our div, and then within that div we'll have another div where we'll have our class name, the hero image container. All right. Let's have another div with a class name hero image. hero underscore underscore image, and then let's bring in our image. We'll close self-closing tag. Want to bring in our image on the hero page, and then we'll have our source. Our source will be our operator. I'll say slash equals, I'll say slash operator 3.png. That's our image that is stored in our public folder. And then we'll have our alt. Let's say hero. We're giving it a width of 400. We're giving it a height of 350. Let's have a class name, object dash contain, and then image 2. Let's also have another image. You can copy this and paste and change a few things so that we have another image. We have two images in our hero page. One is at the front, the other one is behind it. There's a building. All right, let's say the second image is a house.png. Change a few things. We change it out. When you save it, that's it. That's it. The building and then the operator. That's beautiful. Our page is becoming beautiful. We'll extend it. We'll expand it. That's what it looks like. It's a little bit responsive. Still need to work on the responsiveness. Okay. That's it. That's beautiful. Alright. Our custom button is done. We have a nice looking custom button then. Back to our agent page. We'll have our div on the last div, second to the last div we have there. And then in that div, we'll have a class name. We'll say hero underscore underscore filters. And then we'll bring in our search filter, our search bar. We'll bring in our search bar. And then we'll create that component, the search bar component. Let's create that some component immediately. We'll go to our component folder, create search bar.tsx, and simply do our RAFCE, create a boilerplate for it, and then save it. Go to our index file. We've been doing this. As you get to the index file, you import it. Import the search bar, and at the same time you will export it. Okay. Right. We'll import it into our agent page. Okay. Have our search bar there. our search bar. Now, before we begin to search with the search bar, we will need to bring in the items we are supposed to search. So go to our Cloudinary, and then you will log into a Cloudinary. If you don't have a Cloudinary account, you create one. You create a Cloudinary account, and you have a free tier where you can upload your images. This is my Cloudinary account. If you want to upload your images, you can click this button, and from there you can upload your images, all the images you want to make use of. There are a lot of things you can do with Cloudinary. Another component or another site that you have to make use of is the Atlas, the MongoDB Atlas, where you can log in using your Google account, a Gmail account. You can create an account with MongoDB. So I have this document in my MongoDB that I'm going to make use of in this tutorial. Right, these are my documents. In the city center database. Created this document. I'm also going to make use of my compass, like I said earlier. Okay. Once you are in your compass, you can connect the compass to your Atlas so that you can always have those displays. One easy way I do things is that I type out everything I need to work with. My notepad, just open the notepad, type everything out. Go to your Cloudinary, just the images you want to import, you need to just click a link there and you import your images and paste them. Open the folder you need in your Cloudinary. In Cloudinary, you can create any number of folders within folders or whatever. Just paste them in your notepad, copy them, and then repeat them any number of times you need. This way it makes your work easier. Just have a compass in your system and then do everything on notepad, edit it, and simply import it into compass. When you import it into your compass, when you finish in your notepad, you need to save it with JSON, and then you import it. Once you import it into compass, automatically it synchronizes with the Atlas. So this is the easiest way I found to make my work easier for me. Edit everything on notepad, repeat them and all that. So let's continue with what we're doing. We will bring in a div here, and then within our div, we want to bring in those custom filters. Although I did not talk about them, the filters in this particular tutorial, but in our future tutorial, we'll bring them in and show you how to filter your items. All right, we'll create that filter, custom filters. We'll create them in the component folder, custom filter.tsx, and then we'll have our array fce. We have a boilerplate there. Same way, save it, export and import it into the index file. makes the work easier to reference. Right, we'll go back to our agent page, and then we import the custom filter. If we save that file, we'll have those two custom filters there. All right, let's continue with working. It's importing our images. All our images, you're gonna import them. These nice looking cards. All right, we'll go to our Atlas, and then we will just click this button, app services. Within that app services, we will create a REM app. Once we are in our REM app, we'll create a user app and we'll give it a name. We have this nice little guide that you can make use of, but we'll simply go to our device sync. And in our device sync, what we'll simply do is to sync it with the database that we want to make use of. So that is it. You have to add a default role. Make sure you check the role that will enable you to insert, to edit, to read. And then once that is done, you need to save and deploy. You need to save and deploy for that app to be created in your REM app. So once we've saved, we have to deploy it. Once we've deployed it, it is ready to be used. Successfully deployed. And then we'll now, before we create a function, let's change our SDK, make it web, have to be a web SDK, so that you can now be able to have a guide on how to go about it. All right. So we will build our SDK. Now you have other choices within that SDK, but we will use a web because we're making use of our VS Code. All right. If you're not sure about how to go about this, just follow the guide. The guide will help you. So what we'll simply do, having built our sync, having synchronized it, we'll open, just trying to figure out if everything is in order. I've created the app, done a sync, synchronized with the web. And now everything seems okay. There's not much to do. All right, let's create a function. We'll give it a function name. Give it a function name. Once you've given it get all items, that's what I called mine, and then I'll save it, and then I'll write the function. Right, the first thing you do is to change your DB name to what you have in your collections. So you save your DB name and also you save your collection name. And once you've done that, you can remove all of these. We don't need them. We simply want to be able to find everything that is in my file. I'll simply say return collection, find everything. Then once you've done that, you click your run. Make sure it was able to bring in everything that you have in that particular file. And then once you've seen this, you will now simply save and deploy again. Save that draft, and then we'll come back to our VS Code. Now, if you remember at the beginning, I showed you my JSON file, everything have been installed for me. I have installed them, but if you have this file you copied from my JSON file, all you need to do is just simply go to your VS Code and say pnpn install. It will install everything that we have there. But if you don't have it, you install it one after the other. You can install your realm web, and you can install everything you need, your Cloudinary and the rest of them. Alright, I've done all those installations. So I will now import the realm web. Now import the realm. Import as realm from realm web. Alright, after you've imported that, you import your use state and your use effect. I'm gonna make use of them here, and then I'll make my agent, my component file to be effective, TypeScript effective. I'll say React.fc to help my TypeScript to be very effective. And then I'll bring in the use state snippet. Alright, I'll have my items, my set items, and then I'll bring in my use effect. Within that use effect, I'll do my callback function, and then I'll bring in my async. I'll say async, then I'll call back again. Then how to make it work in TypeScript. And here I'll bring in my constant, my app. Just let's look at it as it is already given in a realm app. Just follow it and type it out. Put your ID. Remember your ID is there. Your ID is here. Go to your city center, copy it there, and you paste it in. Usually I'm supposed to paste it in my environment.env where it's hidden. And let's just work on it. Let's just leave it that way. But you paste your own. Right, I have my credentials, which is the realm credential. And then I'll log in as anonymously. Just following the step we have here, anonymous function. And then we'll bring in our try catch, just to make sure we catch any error that occurs. The user await user dot functions. Now we will now bring in our function. All right. We'll bring in our set item. We'll do set item, and then make it a function of all item. This one, all item. All right. Let's catch our error. Catch our error, and we'll simply say console dot error, and let's display error message. I will say failed to log in. Failed to log in. And then we'll catch the error. All right. Now, if items were properly captured, we will need to write the dependency. Let's just put an empty dependency so that it renders once. And then I think that is okay. Let's do this. Construct const equals to is data entry. Now, is data empty? We simply want to make a provision for working with this data. All right. Just put this down. Data empty is array. This will help you with your data to ensure that when we collect our data, as we run our data is able to check the virality of our data. Because if we break this, if we save this, it's going to break. Okay. You are importing your use state. I think we need our use client. Let's bring in our use client. Let's bring in our use client and let's save it. Okay. All right. Everything displays, but our data is yet to be captured. All right. Let's prepare to bring in our data after the div. All right. We'll say bring in our itinerary. Here we'll say is data empty. If we have it is data empty, then we'll run this. If it is not empty, then we'll run the other option. So we have our div between our section. We'll have our div, and then let's give it a class name. Let's say home underscore underscore agents dash wrapper. And let's map our items. We'll say items.map. Our items.map. As this item here, the use state item that we are running. We'll say item.map, and then let's say item. We have a callback function. Because we want to create our city center cards. We want to create our city center card. So we're going to have our key. We're going to have our key. We want to use our item. And then our key will be item.id underscore ID. Yes. So item is equals to item. These are the props we're going to transfer into the city center card that we're going to create. So TypeScript is complaining about the item. So let's simply give it a type of any. And then let's create a component. City center card. .tsx. Let's wrap it with our boilerplate array FCE, and let's save that, and then import it into our index page as usual. We'll import and then export it. Let's save that, and then let's move back to our card, our agent page. Let's import it. Our city center card is imported. All right. Let's continue with our div. Let's say div, give it a class name. Say hero underscore underscore error container. Let's do a H2. And then let's say loading. This will ensure that when we call our image, we will call our items. When the item is still not there, we'll see the loading will be displayed. All right. Our font bold. And then between that, we'll have our P tag. And in between the P tag, we'll have our items. Okay. I think this is okay. Let's go back to our cards. If we save this, we are seeing error, unhandled runtime. What could be the reason for this error? Okay, that's the loading. We have our loading. Our card is here. All right, let's work on the card. Let's import our cloud image from our next Cloudinary. And then we're going to import some of the icons we'll be needing in this card. We'll be needing our FA bed and FA toilet from our React icons. We'll be importing our GI kitchen tab. GI kitchen tab is from our React icons /GI. We'll also be importing our BS arrow right circle. Little icons that we're going to add to our card design. BS arrow circle. Okay. Yeah, if we go to your React, if you go to the React website, you can see any of those icons. Choose what you want. Just go through the icons and then you should be able to choose what you want. Right, let's go back. Let's all right, let's bring in our city center props. from types. There are parameters that we're going to work with here. So our city center props is going to be the prop for all the parameters we're going to bring in. So let's see what our card will look like. Let's give it a class name, our div. Let's give it a class name of CC card group, and then let's bring in another div, and then let's give this div a class name of cc-card underscore content. Remember that I have all these in my GitHub. I have my codes in the GitHub. Anyone you want to look into, you can look into them in the GitHub. All right. Let's say content dash title. This is underscore. All right. Let's just have our title. The title is complaining, so we need to bring it into the props. So let's have our constant. We need our title. We'll bring in our URL here. And we'll bring in our rent. So let's call them item. This item here for the props. Right, let's create that prop. Let's go to our type. And then we need to create that prop. We'll say export interface city center props. All right, this is going to be all our props, all our items that we have. Excuse me. So all those items that we have there in our database. So we have our location, which is a string. We have our center, which is a string. Bedroom URL is a string. We have our description, it's also a string. We have our title, also a string. We have our rent, which is a number. This is the beauty of TypeScript. TypeScript help you to make sure that everything you're working with, you declare them, you give them their types. This usually help reduce your bugs, or especially during production. So we have our agents. There's also a string. What else are we missing? A toilet URL. There's also a string. Then we have our URL. All these are collections, part of our collections that we're going to make use of. Right? We have everything here. We'll go back to our cards. We import our props, city center props, and then we need to create a city center card props so that we can be able to manage our city center card, our city center props. We can be able to manage it with what we have here. So we'll create another prop within our city center card props, and then we can be able to bring in our city center prop. Remember, the other one is city center prop, and there's a city center card prop. Okay, so we'll say item is equals to the city center props. Right. Okay. Everything is working fine now. All right, our items are imported. You can now see our items on our card displayed. That's good. Our nice looking cards, and with a title. There's our div here. And I'm going to right. Let's work on our cards more. Let's see. Let's say, right. Let's bring in another div. Let's bring our image, our cloud image. That's the source is equals to our URL. As a alt. Remember, we're using cloud image. Let's give it an alt. Let's say field, give it a priority, and then let's give it a class name. object dash contain. If we save that, we are supposed to see our image. We are supposed to see our image. Our image is not loading. What is the problem? Ouch. There are a lot of complaints here. We're actually seeing our image, but it's not loading. There are quite a lot of complaints. Let's refresh it. And, wow. Our image is not loading. All right, let's make it a use client. We're supposed to make it a use client. And then let's save it. All right. I think it's better now. We're still seeing this error. Let's rerun our server. The error is still here. Wow. Uh, so the cloud image. Is that okay? We need to supply a Cloudinary. This is where you go to your Cloudinary and you get your secret key, get all those, your cloud name and your secret keys. Right? Just make sure everything is properly configured. Remember, if you're using my configurations, everything is already configured. I have them in my gists. You can go there and copy them. All right, let's create our .env file, the environment file, and there we can paste in our secret. So you just paste in everything, your secret, your cloud name, your cloud secret, and then your Cloudinary API. You'll see them in your clouds when you create. So having done this, I expect my image to show up now. I expect the image to show up. What am I still missing? It's coming. So it's the field priority. Priority is complaining about field and priority. So let's just give it a height and a width and see what happens. Give it a height and a width. All right, that's it. Our image is here. Just wanted us to give us a height and a prep. Okay, so we've been able to import or bring in our image from MongoDB Atlas using RM. Okay, so that's easier. Make it a bit larger. All right, that's working fine now. Right, let's go ahead and add up the other items we have within our card. We're going to have our div, and let's bring in our kitchen top item. Let's give it a div. Let's make it a flex group hover. We want to be able to, when we hover right, it becomes invisible. We'll make it weight full, justify between, text gray. And then our div, have our CC card icon as our class name for our div. All right, let me just speed this up a bit. For the sake of time, I just needed to speed this up. Remember, I have them in my GitHub. Can go there, look at them carefully. All right. That's it. That's it. That's the items that we need. They're all here now. When I hover over them, disappears. All right. Let's bring in a custom button. We'll say custom button. Remember our custom button is imported. It's imported for us. Custom button. All right, let's give it the properties that we'll need here. We'll give it a title. We'll say view more. We'll give it a container style. And we'll say width should be full. We'll have padding Y of 16. Let's say rounded full. Let's give it a background of primary blue. Sorry if you're watching this video. Got a little bit sloppy here. I'm having a flu. So I'm struggling with a flu. Okay. That's it. Give it a font. Bold. We need a right icon. Let's give right icon. Let's say arrow right.png. We have a handle click. For now, let's just set a handle click to do nothing. Let's just leave it this way. Later, we'll give it what to do. Right? Let's put our props in order. We have title, so we need to bring in that title. Okay. A handle click. Just to make sure the right icon. We'll add it to the items and now the props. So we'll add it. Right icon. It's optional. String. So let's have our div. We want to add our image in our custom button so that remember our custom button is meant to be customized to suit different buttons at different parts of our component. So we'll have our source as the right icon. Our source is complaining. Our source is complaining. TypeScript. So let's go back there. Let's change it from string. Let's give it any. Okay. So let's give an out of arrow left. Let's make it a field. And then let's give it a class name of object-contain. Save that. Then we'll go back to our city center card. All right. We'll have it there. It is not looking good yet. I think it has to do with okay, this is it. This is beta. We expand it. We have something like this. It's a bit better. This is what we need. Okay. Let's go back to our page, agent page. Right. We're missing that there. Give it a class name of hero underscore filter container. All right. This is what we want it to be like. Remember, we are trying to repeat what we designed here. When we click these buttons, we want this description to pop up. Right. Let's bring in our use state. And then right, let's bring in our use state snippet. Then let's have it's open. Set is open. And we'll set it to false. At the initial stage, it's going to be false. Right. Now let's look at handle click. We're going to set our handle click to set is open. It comes true. So that when we click it, it can now work on our use state and make it become true. Right, we'll have our city center details. Let's open another component where we'll put those pop-up. Create that component, city center details.tsx. Let's say RAFCE. Then let's save it. Go to our index page, import it, export it as usual. Import a city center card, city center details, and then export the same as usual. And let's save it, and then import it. Right. Go to our card details. Then let's give it a prop. Let's say it's open. Call to is open. Let's bring in a class modal. I give it a class modal. Let's equals to call a function. Let's say set is open. Calls to false. And then let's simply call our item equals to item. So we're going to transfer these props to the child component, which is the city card detail. I click it, then go to our city card details. Okay, now see, we're going to import the items we're going to work with here. Now city center details. We'll need our fragment from React. We're going to import. Let me speed it up for the sake of time. All right. I'm going to have a transition, and between them, first and foremost, let's say appear show is equals to is open, and then let's bring in is open. So open, there is a parameters that we're going to work with. We have is open, we have close that, and then let's have our item, and then let's give it a prop name. We'll say city center details prop. City center details props. Okay. This will simply be a prop, a city center details props. We'll say is open. It's Boolean. Boolean. We have a close modal. Let's make it an empty void. Something is not right. Okay. We need to interface. Okay. And let's make this void. And then let's have our item to be a city center props. Remember the prop we did the other side, it's will be imported for us here. And our city center props, I'm going to make it part of what we're doing here. If you haven't, can go to the headless UI website. This is what we are working with. The headless UI. We're working with the dialog, and we're working with the transition. So if you open the transition and go through it, these are the codes you need. So in case you're having a little bit of confusion about what we're doing, you can go head to headless UI, and then you can choose any of these components, and then you go through them to understand what we are doing or what we did. There's a dialog, there's a modal, So if you click on it, if you go down, you'll see these are the codes that you need and everything you need to make this work. As with the headless UI. Okay, so this is a code, so you can simply go through it, go through the documentation to see everything is already done for you. Everything is just already done. That's the beauty of what we're doing. So simply go there and then we'll bring it in. So that's the transition that we're working with. All right, our dialog. Give it a class name. Really give it an alt. Remember I said earlier that you have to bear with me a little bit. I woke up this morning and I'm having this flu, this cold, this headache. So just taking it easy a little bit this morning. Just bear with me, okay? All right. I have my transition, and then within this transition, give it the child, and then I have as fragment. Excuse me. As fragment, I will do enter. I'll say ease out. Duration 300. Now what this does is, when that pop-up, when you click the pop-up that pops out, there is a little delay. That is the ease out. Then I have my, okay, you enter from opacity, enter to opacity 100. So all these enables the transition to work properly. Transit when it's entering the bit of that opacity. Sorry for that. Right, leave from opacity 100. Then we have a leave to opacity of 0. So all these you check out the headless UI, you will see all of these. All these will help you during your pop-up, those transitions that you see. Right, let's have a div. It's a self-closing div. Simply say class name fixed, insert 0, background black, and then opacity of 25. So that is it. If you look at the background, when you click your icon, there is this background that makes everything faint, a little bit fainty. Okay, it's not working yet. We need to complete this. This is what I mean. When you click, there's this fainty background behind it. So that is what the opacity does for you. All right, so let's continue with our code. Of course, it's going to break now because we've not done everything. We've not brought in all the codes. So let's have our div. Let's have our div with a class name. Let's say fixed inset 0 with the background black. Okay. I'm sorry for that again. All right. Let's have this div. Around full. All right. I'll give it a text center. I'll bring in my transition again. This time around, let me just copy it from here and paste it in. Yeah, almost the same thing. In fact, I'm beginning to think I need to just copy in everything and probably explain them. Okay. Remember, I've already shown you what all this look like, what they do. These are the transitions that will help your pop-up to look a little bit more interesting. You head to headless UI, you get all the documentation and how to handle them. Okay, just scaling these and just making it a little bit different from the other one. All of these is explained in the headless UI documentation. These transitions, right? Let's just bring in a dialog. A dialog panel will come in from here. Dialog. I'm just gonna copy these. Let me format it so that I will get a clearer view of what I'm doing. All right, just format it. All right, so that is it. I've copied everything into this place, trying to explain them. So if you go through it, you will see this is my image. These are my source, the image, just a simple addition of image and transitions. I have everything in my source code. In case you need them, you can just go through it. Alright, trying to make it work. Think I need, since I have image, I think I need a use state, a use client to make it run in the client. I simply need a use client. So let's go there. Let's add a use client. I have a use state. I have a use. I have images. So all these are supposed to render at the client server, at the client side. So we're still having this break. So something is yet not right. What am I missing? Let's import the use state. Okay. And then I'll do my use state. Use a use state snippet. Now I have my items, set items. Make it an empty array. Okay. Okay. Just bear with me, trying to get this to work properly. Let's copy all of this from our RAM. Let's bring it in here. And okay, let's bring in our use effect, which is part of what we need in the realm. I think that's beginning to make it work. Alright, the type is okay. Everything seems okay here. Okay. Okay. Use effect. We've already brought in our use effect, so why is it not showing? I think I need to restart my server. I refreshed my page, still not working, still complaining about the use effect. See, we are using the use effect. Okay, the use client, we've already added. Oh, that is it. I have it in capital C. It shouldn't be a capital C, it should be a small c. Okay, then I can refresh that. And I can refresh that. The handled runtime. Let's just refresh this. Okay, everything's back working. That's good. Everything is here now. That's it. Over it. It clicks, it opens. That's it. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So we have our items. All our items are now here. They're working beautifully well. Remember to change your vessel icon. Put your own icon. I just left this for sale here so that we can at least use it to know the difference between the one we are working on and the one we've already done. So that whenever I open these and you're seeing that for sale icon, you can know that this is the one we are working on. All right. Let's I see the details are working. Cards are working. All right. Remember that the search is the most important aspect of this tutorial. So we'll go to our search component. We'll bring in our form, and then we'll give it a class name. We'll give it a class name of underscore filter container, and then we'll say on submit equals to handle search, and then let's have our div, and in this div we'll give it a class name. Class name search bar underscore item. Then let's have our input. Let's have our input. Our input type is text. Let's give it a class name of width full. And a border around it. Let's give it padding left of 10, padding right of 4, padding y both sides of 2. Let's give it a focus. Let's say border blue 500. I give it more focus. Border blue 500. All right, let's give it more focus. No outlines. And then we still need a focus. Give it a shadow outline. And then let's give it a placeholder. Placeholder of search. Right. We'll say on change. on change, call an event. That is when you put something into our search, we call an event, and then we'll say search, set search term. The event, okay, for now, let's just leave it empty until we bring in our, let's just leave it empty. We'll work on it soon. I don't want to get us confused here. All right. Of course, if we save it, it will break. Okay, let's do our handle search. Remember our handle search that we want to change the default. We don't want a handle search to, when you press the enter button, we wouldn't want it to carry out not usually the default settings. So we're going to say prevent default. Okay, it's no longer breaking because we now have the handle search function. This is our search input with our placeholder. If you put anything there for now, it's not going to work. So we are going to make it work. Everything is looking okay for now. All right. We'll call in our event react.form event. Remember, we're using TypeScript, so this is going to help your TypeScript to work. If we're not using TypeScript, we wouldn't have needed this. So TypeScript. All right, that's our event. We'll get it to work. As our search. Okay. All right. For this to work, we'll need to go back to our REM app and we'll need to create our search search function. So we'll go to our app and then we'll need to go to our collection in our Atlas, MongoDB Atlas. Go to our collection. We're going to create a search index. That's the first thing you do when you want to create your search. I'm seeing a little bit different there. Okay. While we were at it, the MongoDB Atlas just updated their website. It was looking different, but it's still the same thing. The basics are still the same. All right, let's go to what we're doing. Let's go to our database. Let's click it. Wait for it a bit. And then let's go to our collections. All right, we're in our city center collections. in our database, we're going to create a search index. So you go to your search, and then we already have this existing index here. So just create a search index, click the button, and then we'll say next. We're going to select the collection we need here, but then let's give it a name. Let's give it a name. Let's call it search items. And then make sure you choose the collection you're working with. Then you say next. Alright, I think everything is okay. Just create it. We're all set. So once you do that, MongoDB, they will create a search index for you. And then you will be informed when your search index is ready to be sent to your mailbox. Alright, while our search index is being created, okay, said you're all set. So remember, once the search index is created, it will become active. So while we are still at that, let's go back to our app services and let's create our search function. So you go to functions, you say create function, and we're going to call this function, what do we call it? Let's call it search items. All right. Search items, leave everything in the default, leave them as they are, and then click on it. Right, this is our search item. All right, you change your var, change them to let. We're not making use of var, we're making use of let, so you just do Ctrl H and ask it to change everything to let. That is JavaScript. So remember that if you don't understand JavaScript, you may not be able to follow this course properly. All right, we're going to change our database name and our database collection. Right, we'll remove all of these. Let's look at it properly. We'll make sure everything is properly done. We'll remove everything between, and then we'll carry out our search. For this, you will need to just follow the steps properly. MongoDB. In the nearest future, we're going to present a lecture on MongoDB. For now, you can refer to some of those other lectures where some of these things were taught. So you're going to have your MongoDB search the same way you do it on your compass. So we'll do the search, type in all we need, we'll type it in. All right. Just follow what I'm doing. Ensure you follow them properly. I just added this. Remove this. And then we'll return a collection. Okay, once you've done it, you need to type in. Let's before we run it, let's just type in one of our this, and then to search. So if you type in one of your lists or items in a list and then you run the search, if it works properly, then you will know that your function is working properly. You may have to zoom it in a little bit to be able to see it. While I was working at it, I really wanted you to see everything that is going on. So, but just zoom it in a little bit, you will see what we are doing. So you just type in one of your search items, you click the run, and if it is working properly here in the realm, then you will know that it will work in your app. So we're testing it out. Once you are sure that what you need is working properly, you now go back to our app in our VS Code. All right. For now, our search is not working because we've not connected it properly. So for us to connect it properly, we will need to bring in that the function we've created in the realm into our search component. So that is how it works. You create your function in the realm app and then you bring it into your components. So we are going to start with the import. We are going to say use state and use effect. We're importing use state and use effect from React. We will need use effect. Good. And we will also import our use router from next navigation. There is a use router from next router, but that's not the one we are using. This one is next router, so you have to be careful to make use of there's a difference. I think next router or next navigation is more defined or modified to do what we need to do here. So that's the one we're going to make use of. And then we'll have our import. You need to import. Let's import our BS search. It's just an icon that we'll make use of. It's from React icons. Okay. All right. Let's make our Let's make it TypeScript. And then let's bring in our use state. We'll say cause search term, set search term. We'll set our search term to an empty string, and then we'll have our router. Let's destructure our router, use router, and it's looking good. All right. Remember, if you're watching this video and it looks a little bit slow to you, you can just speed it up a little bit. On YouTube, you can just make it 1.2 speed. Okay. Here in Africa, English is our second language. So if you're watching this video where you speak your English fast, you bear with me. All right, this is it. You bring in your router dot push, and then we'll use our template string. What we're trying to do here is to, when you put in your search, if you look at the URL, you will need to okay, let's look at what we've already done here in our previous app. When I put in my search, I say GRA. You will notice that the GRA will appear in my URL, and that is because we have created a component for it. So your router will need to push what you're doing onto that component and make it appear there in the URL. So that is why we need a router. Our router pushes it onto that person. So let's bring in another search item. Like I have one of them, Gary Key. You see it's changing there, and it's also bringing in the apartments that are located in that place. So that is what we hope to achieve using our router. So when you do your push, you will need to push it onto the component that will handle your search. Okay, so that is what we need to do. So let's create the component that we need to handle our search. So let's create a page for the search. Go to your app, and then you will create a page for our search. So let's create a folder. Let's call it search, and in that folder, let's create our page. Remember that in your NextJS, from NextJS 13, this is how it works. You create a folder, and then in that folder you create a file. So here we're going to create, within our search, we're going to create another folder, and we call it term. And this folder, within that term folder, we will now create our file, and we'll call it page.tsx. Remember that this folder is special. It is not the usual folder. You will have to put it within a square brace. All right, so let's bring in our input. Let's bring in our use state in this file. All right, we'll import. You import your use state, you use effect, and then you will import this use path name, and then use search params from next navigation, and then we will import rm, from rm web, Remember, your snippets will help you to make sure that these things have been properly installed in your VS Code. Then we import our search bar. We'll also be needing our city center cards here from our components. Okay. Okay. That's the one we've already done. When you search and click the button, everything is working properly. So let's replicate that. Let's replicate that. Search have always been an issue, a problem. One of the challenges that you have as a web developer is a search. Once you can be able to do a search, it means you've been able to achieve a lot. Search is always important as a web developer. And the web realm app and MongoDB, they've made it very easy for you to handle. So we're bringing in our use state. We're going to do set items, and then let's destructure our path name. Our use path name, we'll use destructure it to path name. Our use path name function, and then let's also do a const search params. Let's also destructure search params equals to use search params, the use search param function. All right. Then let's bring in our let's return before. Okay. It's taking a little bit of time, so let me just copy it in and then explain them to you. So I just simply went to my hero page and copied everything there into this place. Remember that it is just a repetition of what we've done in the hero page. So we just needed to remove the hero components, and then this will help us save time. All right, let's still bring this in. Still part of what we have in our hero page. Just go through your hero page, copy everything into this place, and then we're going to modify it to what we need. We also need to bring in the realm functionality that we handled in our hero component on our agent page. Just copy them in, and then all we need to do is just to change the function that we worked on, that search item function. Just replace it with this one instead of the get all items function. we'll simply have our search item function. Okay, so let's look at the codes and you should be able to understand what we're doing. Remember, if any of this confuses you, you can always ask me anything in my comment section. I will gladly oblige and help you out. So I have them in my GitHub. You can also go to the GitHub and copy them. So that's a search item. And then make sure everything is here. The dependency, will now bring in our path name and the search params as part of the dependencies. Okay. And then since we are using our use state, is going to be a client side component. And now we can now go back to our push and we'll direct it into the search page that we just created. And that is it. Make sure you put it within a template string. Okay. You want to make sure it is inside a template string. That's a search term. That's interesting. And then we'll bring in our search term and set it to an empty string. Okay. That is it. We also need our search button. So let's bring in our search button. Our search button is equals to, it's a function, our arrow function. Right, our search button is an arrow function. All right, we'll say button. Bring in a button tag, surround with the button tag. We'll give it a type, submit. And let's give it a class name. Let's give it a class name. And then let's make that a template string. And we'll give it a margin left of 2. Give it a Z index of 10. And then let's bring in our template string. And let's just say other classes. This will help us to define the other classes later on. And then let's bring in our icon to be a search. Let's give it a class name of object contain. Right. Then let's bring in our props, the other classes, and let's make that other class a string. Let's define the other class, which is a string, other class type. All right, let's go to our onChange. We'll now set our onChange to set search term. We'll call in our event target value. Then we'll make our value to be our search term. All right. Okay. Now I'm bringing our search buttons. Now our other class, a search button, which we've defined in our function. We now have our other classes in our small devices to be hidden. Okay, that's it. I want to make sure that in our small devices it has to be hidden. Okay, we'll say other devices max for small devices. So this will make sure that in some small devices like the mobile phone, it has to be hidden. You know, we're trying. One of the beauty of the things we do as developers is to make sure that if someone is using your laptop to access what you're doing, it's working. If another person is using a phone, is also working. That means it's responsive. All right, we'll do our use client, and then we'll save, and hopefully everything is working well now. Let's save that, and then our page is loading properly. So let's carry out our search. All right, before we carry our search, let's we'll bring in this constant URL, and then we need to remember we have our path name, our search params. We didn't bring this in initially. All right, remember we need to make it a search template. We'll make it a template. We'll bring in our path name and our the search params, and we'll also make our search item. We'll give it the function of the URL. All right, that is it. Make sure you save everything. And then let's carry out our search. Type in GRA and our GRA is loading. It's taking some time. Let's search something else. Back bar. Back bar. No, let's search Transekulo. These are city centers in Enugu, one of the cities in Nigeria. So we're carrying out our search. It's not responding as we want. One of the challenge you have when you are in a development stage is that it takes a little time. Once you've uploaded it and you're able to get it working in the production stage, it will speed up. That's beautiful. Our search is working, but it's a little bit slow. Everything is working fine. So we've achieved our aim for this tutorial. If you've been with me through this tutorial from the beginning up to this moment, I say a big thank you to you. It's been 3 hours of long lectures. If you've watched the first edition, I've added this. There are 2 videos in one. Just watch all through. You have a lot to learn. In our next video, we are going to teach you an e-commerce app. Remember to like our videos, subscribe to my channel. I have a lot that I'm going to be teaching in this channel. In our next video, we are looking at building an e-commerce app. We're going to show you all through the way how to build that app. Thank you very much.